Alright guys, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in Eagle, Idaho today. Now, if you're not familiar with Eagle, Idaho, you're in for a treat. It's going to be one of the most highly recommended cities to live in the state of Idaho. So make sure you guys stay tuned because we're going to be giving you guys all the insider tips. Let's get to the content. Alright guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you press subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going to be dropping the best videos as far as living or relocating to Idaho, which is probably why you're watching this video, right? You may be curious as far as what Eagle, Idaho has to offer compared to Boise or even the number 2 most populated city, which is Meridian, Idaho. And then you may also be comparing South versus Northern Idaho, right? So there's a lot of different things that play a part as far as picking where you're going to live moving forward. So to kick it off, we're going to be talking about where Eagle, Idaho is located in comparison to Boise, Idaho. Eagle, Idaho is about a 30-minute drive from heart of Eagle to heart of Boise, which is downtown. So when we're looking at driving time during traffic, it may turn into a 35-minute drive. When there's no traffic, it's more probably so along the 25-minute range. But what's important is it is right next to Boise, it's right next to Meridian, it's right next to the perfect, what I like to call a perfect triangle as far as cities and just having things to do as far as entertainment, groceries, and just not having to go out of your way to make sure that you can enjoy the quality of life, which is actually going to lead us into our first topic today, which is going to be the pros and cons. Starting off with the pros. Pro number 1 will be the higher quality of life that Eagle, Idaho has to offer. So when we're talking higher quality of life, I'm talking about living in Eagle, Idaho. People just seem a lot happier with how life is, right? So you have all the convenience stores, you have all the grocery stores, you have all the outdoor recreational activities. If you're into that, you just have so much that Eagle offers. Most people tend to be friendlier. The quality of life as far as eating, entertainment, and all that is just a higher quality, which just to kind of talk about Eagle, it is kind of a higher end city, right? So it is a little more expensive as far as cost of entry, but due to the cost of entry being a little higher, you also enjoy the higher level quality as far as entertainment and dining and things of that nature goes. So Eagle, Idaho definitely just checks that box as far as quality of living. So next we're going to be talking about the scenic beauty and outdoor scenery that Eagle, Idaho has to offer. So Eagle, Idaho is just absolutely magnificent. When you're looking around, you're going to see mountains all over the place. You're going to see some higher end homes. You're just going to see the higher quality in everything, right? I know we just talked about quality of life, but when we're talking about the natural views, right now we're at a park where there's a beautiful pond, you have ducks walking around, you have all these beautiful trees. All of Southwest Idaho is really known for the greenery. It's also nicknamed the City of Trees. So Eagle is included in the Treasure Valley, but when you're looking at it, it's just because of the beautiful mountains, you're looking at the beautiful water, all these different things that all come together to just give you a great aspect, especially when you're going to walk the Greenbelt River, right, which is connecting from Boise to Eagle, Idaho. And both of those just go hand in hand as far as the trail, the water, everything just connects and it just flows so nicely. So a lot of people tend to live in Eagle, Idaho because they just love it. And to add to it, it is a smaller town and it's not as populated, so people love that as well. So if that's not all combined, if all that natural beauty and all that doesn't combine enough to convince you to move here, then we're also going to add in the fact that you can literally go anywhere. If you're into it, you can go hiking and biking and fishing and just, you have all these different activities with the natural scenery surrounding Eagle that you can just go enjoy anything. And they also have Eagle Island State Park, which is also a very beautiful area where you can go take the family or friends or whoever it may be and go enjoy the water over there. And then on top of that, they also have zip lining and water slides in the area as well. So there's just a lot of things to do outdoor wise. So if you're an outdoorsy person, it just makes sense for a lot of people to live in Eagle. To include during the winter, they also have a man-made hill that they create that you can actually go tubing down during the winter at Eagle Island Park. So there's just a lot of things that they offer you, which is going to take us to pro number 3. When it comes to things being offered to you, Eagle, Idaho is a huge advocate for supporting local businesses. So if you're someone that is an entrepreneur side of things, or maybe you have a side hustle as far as like creating bracelets or whatever the case may be, people in Eagle or people in Idaho in general truthfully love to support local businesses. Now that's not to say there isn't any franchises or anything like that comes to Eagle, but in the aspect of supporting local, people actually tend to go that route rather than going the franchise route with a lot of things. So if you're someone that's looking to start a business, or you're moving a business, or you're even expanding your business, Eagle, Idaho is just a great place to start because it is still up and coming. It's not as populated as Boise. Matter of fact, it's one of the lower populated cities. And due to that, there's just a lot more opportunity. There's a lot more area as far as agriculture and commercial buildings being built. So there's just a slow trend as far as development and things of that nature. So you're still in the early side of things as they develop Eagle, Idaho. Just a quick add on to that, a lot of the common things that we see as far as local businesses are going to be just boutique shops such as cafes, local gyms, restaurants, and even their farmers markets that they do on the weekends during the warmer times as of right now. Those are all very big opportunities for people, or very common opportunities that we tend to see a lot of people shopping local. So if those are something that aligns with what you're looking to build, I highly believe that Eagle is a great area to get that started. Now, diving into our next topic, I know I kind of touched base on this throughout the video early on, but it is a very, very active community. Now, Idaho has always been known for people that love to be outdoors, that like to hike, bike, fish, and just do all the things that you can as far as the outdoor aspect. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. What we're going to be talking about is more so the active community and social life that Eagle, Idaho has. So Eagle, Idaho being a little smaller, it is a little more of a tight-knit community. They do have the farmers market that I did discuss earlier in the video, and they do have a lot of events that they throw for the city itself, right? So during 4th of July, you'll see things. During Christmas, you're gonna see events. There's gonna always be something going on. They typically do that around national holidays from a celebratory standpoint. So if you like to get out in the community and go enjoy and meet people and socialize, then Eagle, Idaho is also a huge advocate, which is going to be another pro in that aspect. So without touching on that too much, our next pro number 5, and the final pro we're going to talk about, before I dive into it, I do want to put out there, I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of Idaho, and as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I would also love to help you with your home buying needs. So now let's go ahead and dive into the housing side of things, which is a huge plus. So this pro is going to be that Eagle, Idaho is notorious for its luxury housing and upscale development. Now, when we're talking about luxury housing, I'm talking about some of the most beautiful homes you have ever seen. So as far as luxury housing, you're going to see a lot of homes with a lot of open spaces, a lot of windows. It's just going to feel like there's a lot more breathing room, and it truly encompasses what luxury looks like. The granite counter finishes, the small details that make a home. You're going to even see that there's homes with waterfronts. There's a lot of homes on acreage, and like I said, it is still agriculture and residential, so there's a little bit of both. It's kind of a hybrid town, but when we're talking about the homes, there's just a lot to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you guys some of the luxury homes that Eagle, Idaho has to offer. So with that being said, let's check it out. Alright guys, so like I said, these homes are absolutely beautiful. They're magnificent. Each house is very unique here, for the most part. Right now, there are going to be some communities that may look alike and maybe cookie cutter, but it's just not as common in Eagle, Idaho, which is awesome. So now, before we dive into the cons of Eagle, Idaho, I just want to go ahead and show you guys more good of what Eagle, Idaho has to offer. All right, so to kick it off with pro number one, after seeing all that beautiful, magnificent scenery as far as what Eagle looks like, there is still cons to everything that is good, right? So con number one is going to be the higher cost of entry. Now, for some people, that may not be a factor as much, but it is a little more expensive to live in Eagle, Idaho. So when we're talking about Eagle, Idaho and the higher cost of entry, we're not talking about the groceries or anything of that nature specifically. It's more so that the entertainment is a little bit more expensive. Housing is significantly more expensive, and when we're talking housing, the median price point in Eagle, Idaho is over $700K. Meanwhile, the median home price is sold basically in Meridian, Idaho is $505K, and then in Boise, the median home price is about $535,000. So you can definitely see that there's a huge gap there. But like I said, Eagle does have that higher cost of entry, and due to it, it's a lot more higher end in just the luxury lifestyle. So in that aspect, it can be a con, but for some people that may also be a pro because they love the lifestyle. Now, the next con is going to be limited public transit. Now, if you're someone that typically relies on subways, trains, public buses, and things of that nature, Eagle, Idaho does not have that. So for those of you that are strictly personal car, or you like to ride your bike around, whatever the case may be, this may not necessarily affect you as much. But for those of you that do rely on public transit, that is a huge con. But I don't feel like there's too much to talk about in that aspect, so I just want to throw that on there, and let's dive into con number three. All right, so con number three is going to be the risk of overdevelopment. Now, one thing about Eagle, Idaho, even though it's not a huge town, a lot of people want to live in Eagle, right? A lot of people love Eagle. They love what it stands for. They love the lifestyle, and due to that, a lot of people want to relocate to Eagle, Idaho. So now the problem with that is, as fast as they're trying to develop Eagle, it's still not meeting the supply and the demand, right? So although there is a cost of entry, and it is a higher cost of entry, a lot of people are willing to pay that. And even with that barrier, people are overcoming that. Still a short supply as far as housing and just amenities in Eagle, Idaho overall. So that is going to be a huge con for that aspect. So now some of those things that you may be limited on, I just want to throw in there. It's going to be grocery stores, it's going to be entertainment, and it's going to be shopping, right? So although it doesn't have everything, the good thing is that its location is conveniently placed right in between Boise and Meridian, where you can go enjoy all those things as well. So while Eagle does have enough to survive, if you want something specific, you may have to travel to one of the other cities, which, as we stated, is going to be about anywhere between a 15 to 30-minute drive, depending on where you're at. So with that being said, that is another con. This con we're going to be discussing is going to be a huge factor for those of you that may have a lot of allergies, or seasonal allergies affect you in a large way. So if you're one of those people that literally cannot breathe for more than 5 minutes if you go outside due to the pollen, then that is potentially something you want to consider, because you don't want to move somewhere and not be able to breathe and enjoy the fresh air, or be able to go on a hike because seasonal allergies are killing you so much that you can barely function. So with that being said, that is a huge con for those of you that are affected by that. So keep that in mind if you are deciding on where to move and how that could potentially affect you. So the final con is going to be the distance from major cities. Now, I know we talked about it's about 30 minutes away, which some people that doesn't matter as much, but for those of you that it does matter, then that could be a con as far as maybe getting to work on busy days, where 5 o'clock traffic may affect you in an aspect of where it may not add on an hour or two like LA or Los Angeles does, but it could add 10-15 minutes potentially how far you are from work to the point you live in Eagle, Idaho. So keeping that in mind, that could also be a huge con. But for those of you that are okay with a small commute, the cities are very close by, and like I said, it's a perfect trifecta. You have Eagle here, you have Boise here, and then you have Meridian right next door. So all three touch, all three are in close parameter. Now if you go the other way to where maybe you're driving to Nampa or Caldwell, that could also be a pretty hefty trip. And then you also have Star as well, but those are all covered in our other videos. So while you're still here, make sure you guys press the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you guys turn on notifications for more videos just like this. And I do want to reiterate one more time, I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of Idaho. So you're going to see my phone number pop up, you're going to see my email pop up. Those are my direct methods of contact, so don't hesitate to shoot me a text, give me a call, or shoot me an email, and I would love to help you guys with your home buying needs. Thank you guys for tuning in on another amazing video. I will see you guys on the next one.